Craig and I are now going to go into the news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. Eagle Mortgage Company is a mortgage broker. And sometimes people will say, well, why should I use a mortgage broker when I can just go to some retail bank? Well, on average, brokers save homeowners $9,000 over the life of a loan compared to retail lenders and banks. In fact, in 2021, the average borrower savings was over $9,400 between upfront cost savings and interest savings. And even though interest rates are rising, they, being mortgage brokers like Eagle Mortgage, are still better than most of your credit cards or other types of loans that you might want to get. And of course, Eagle Mortgage can also help you with high debt consolidation. So definitely check them out. You can find them online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. That's eaglemortgagecompany.com. All right, some news items for this week. First of all, Google has announced that it will add Omaha to the growing number of cities offering its Google Fiber, which is high-speed internet service to residential and small business customers. Craig, we already have great infrastructure here, but this makes Omaha even better. We're now the 19th market to get Google Fiber.
And I think that's pretty special, to be one of the early markets, to be able to have an opportunity at Google Fiber, to bring in Google Fiber. I think that's it really speaks to what the growth of Omaha and what we're doing here.
Well, and in addition to this new Google Fiber announcement, let us not forget that Google has already invested billions and billions of dollars in this metro area. Huge data center on 1,000 acres in Council Bluffs, a big one just south of Cheer Athletics in Papillion, right, and now a third one under development in Northwest Omaha. So, Craig, you're an Air Force man, right?
I am.
Good Air Force news here in Omaha. Offutt Air Force Base reopened its runway. 18 months of construction, $169 million. During that time, the planes of the 55th Wing or any other planes of dignitaries coming to visit Stratcom or anything like that, the planes were in Lincoln. I imagine some visitors had to use Epley, but finally, Offutt is back to normal. And that's a big deal.
It's great to hear, and $170 million worth of cement.
That's a lot. I'm thinking it's kind of deep on that runway.
Well, it's got to be.
You think about how long it takes us to build a mile stretch of road in West Omaha. Building a runway as deep as it must be, that's a heck of a project.
It is.
Well, the University of Nebraska Board of Regents approved plans to build an innovation hub at UNMC. And we've talked about this before, but it's going to the old steel plant, which is west of Saddle Creek Road. And altogether, this thing is going to be called the Catalyst. Construction will begin this fall. Completion is planned for 2024. The companies that take technology from UNMC and bring it to the market, like Unimed and Unitech, will be in there, plus a food court, offices, event space. Craig, this is part of a building spree that's going to be coming to the Med Center. And if anyone ever doubted what a role UNMC plays in the local economy, they shouldn't anymore, because we've got billions of dollars of construction coming there. And in fact, just this morning before coming over to the studio, I drove by to see how the demolition of the Monroe-Meyer complex is coming along. It's coming.
Yeah.
UNMC is exciting.
It just never ceases to amaze me what the Med Center is able to pull off. And, there's a lot of history with that location. That steel plant came in 1906. They helped build the state capitol, was really an integral part of the railroad and the World War II efforts. They eventually relocated out to Wahoo, but tremendous history there, and it's great to see that being revitalized by the Med Center.
It's kind of cool to think that the steel for the state capitol building came, in many cases, just from the state of Nebraska.
That's right.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about road construction out west. 180th Street has opened north of Giles. And for those of you who are not familiar with this area, this was a godforsaken disaster for a long time. You had the Giles and 180th in this part of Sarpy County were gravel roads, probably 20 years longer than they should have been gravel roads. And part of it was there was this very awkward intersection with the Burlington Northern Railroad track and a creek. This is coming along. You can now go from Giles to Harrison on 180th over this beautiful viaduct. West of 180th on Giles, another bridge still under construction, but This is going to make a huge difference.
Well, it is huge, and I'm disappointed we're bringing it up on the radio because there's no traffic on 180th. I live in that direction, and it's been great because I live off of 180th and Cornhusker. So being able to take 180th all the way through to Q Street has been phenomenal with no traffic. But it's much needed, and to your point, the gravel roads, 192nd is from Giles to almost 370 is still gravel. They're putting in residential neighborhoods, they're putting in roads, but the 192nd is still gravel. So I'm hoping that we can get that project moving here fairly quickly.
Yeah, a lot of growth in that area. And finally, Mayor Stothert made an announcement this week that the Harney bike lane, which was off, is now on. And to give you a little bit of background on this, there's what we call the Midtown to Market protected bike lane on Harney Street, connects downtown to Midtown. And it was a pilot project just to see how it would happen. If you've ridden it or if you drove by, you noticed there were temporary bollards and lines, and for all indications are that the project has been a success. The problem is that pilot was set to expire yesterday, and the other problem is that the streetcar eventually is going to go where the lane is. But a lot of the bike interests, understandably, were upset that was going to go away. Well, it turns out a private donor has come forward and will cover the cost of the temporary space until we're ready for the streetcar construction to begin, which is probably a year or two away. And this private donor will also help with studies to determine where the permanent bike lane will go. Craig, this is good, though, because we want to keep encouraging, densification in the urban core and alternative transportation to fight traffic jams, et cetera.
Absolutely. And my first question is, you really think the streetcar thing's going to happen?
I do.
Because we've talked about it for so long here.
Like when Hal Daub proposed the one on 10th Street to the zoo back in the 90s?
Right. Yes. It's been talked about for a long time. So it's good to see that's finally progressing. And, we talk about staying active physically, and kudos to, first of all, the donor that stepped forward to be able to allow this bike path to continue. I'm not a bike person myself, but as you can tell. But
I cheer people who are when they pass me by when I'm walking.
Right. Yeah. But for those that want to stay physically active on a bike, and this is a win for them. And I think it's great they stood up to it, and kudos to the donor for coming along and helping this out. And hopefully we'll find another solution as the streetcar comes along here in a year or two. Hopefully.
And that's your news of the week, brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.